loud. This is where I think I've lost my hearing.
Oh, so it's like double take now.
You'll be getting it always. When we pulled into the car park, Elsie was like, "Baba, Baba," and I'm like, "You're not coming in." Then I missed my hair appointment yesterday, so I've got my roots.
You did.
I know. I should have a lovely bouncy blow dry.
Best virgin of my life.
I really hope that went out live.
What?
I really hope that
I know.
went out live.
Beautiful sound.
And the atmosphere is building. Look at this, just 11 minutes until we tip here.
It's going to be quite
so
hard.
if you're hearing this and you're in the fan zone now, would be a
If
brilliant
he's
time
talking,
to
whilst we
make
talk.
your way through to the
When he's talking, if we're talking.
I know.
We are courtside and we need every single one of you. We're walking in here to make as much noise as you can. It really does need every single
I can't
one
believe I'm going to the national.
I like how you're being very just leaning.
On that side,
We are talking to each other, yeah.
I seen that when you did. Or Kieran could just do it.
Yeah.
But he might not.
Players to benches, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. First of match of the Gladiator SLB Women's Championship. Let's get you introduced to your teams and coaching staff.
Hello and welcome to 𝗀𝗲𝗱𝘆, where we are in for some SLB women's action. Tonight we've got the home. For tonight's game.
How am I feeling? I'm feeling. Spoken to both coaches, both seem up for it. With what might some say was an Gladiators coming in. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good matchup.
Two wins in the bounds.
Yeah, and you know that's a final that they've momentum going, even though there is going to be the team.
Yeah, so the Leicester come in, they obviously got an double. We don't normally see them in the league.
The corner, most people are
the prep, even if you're winning every our girls, they've been fantastic. Probably better than any season.
good. That's always. I might have said that's a bit of an upset to build on that today.
We had one that's been most talked about. Fantastic. We're still a little we feel like example of that, and now we.
You know, Julia Chandler last week from her today.
Yeah, so she's a response since the Cardiff game has been the only double-double game she's posted. Versatility, so yeah, we'll.
Today.
Thank you.
Against London, are you
expected to do so the players afterwards, so get the most out of everyone.
they just something you guys
Over the course of the season, we've been gradually great basketball, and that starts with getting the
heading into Christmas ironically the light, or you solely
and we're in the second half of the season. Ultimately, we've got to be there in this season.
And we are ready to almost go 3 minutes till the tip. Rona, started talking there. What matchups are you looking forward to this evening? This afternoon, it's 2 o'clock.
I think for me, I'm looking forward to the guards going at it. So 𝗀𝗲 Harrison, Mathilde Domingé. You know, 𝗀𝗲 Harrison 15 and 5 at the moment averaging. Mathilde maybe not putting up as big numbers, so to speak, but how she looks to control the game and how she manages to find, you know, the open player. So I think that's going to be an interesting matchup for me.
Yeah, and I think Harrison plays 30 minutes, whereas Domingé is closer to 23 minutes. So it's always the rotation from the Gladiators. We see Leicester being a little bit short-handed, but does that just mean they're going to be more exact with their rotations?
Yeah, I think we're seeing that quite a bit, aren't we? That sometimes a slightly shorter rotation is actually benefiting teams and players at times, because, you know, they're able to play through mistakes, they're able to find their rhythm, find their groove, whereas, you know, if you're able to be subbed out more regularly, that can obviously not benefit you at times, but at the same time you can be on the opposite side and say if you're able to get sub, you're able to get a rest, you know, and you can time these things. Coaches work these rotations well. So I think, you know, Leicester have nothing to lose. Long drive north for them, but both teams are going to want to go into this sort of mini break at Christmas with a win.
Yeah, and I suppose that's something that assistant coach Don McDonald said about emptying the tank on this game with having the break. And I suppose from players, they'll be looking forward to the break as well. Been a busy couple of weeks.
It has, and I think also it gives a time to just reflect, doesn't it? We always talk about that. I mean, it's like me getting a bit emotional Christmas time, but you know, it's a good time to pause, reflect, see where the team's come to. When you think a lot of these players, coaches hadn't even met each other until a few months ago, and now you know they're jostling for places. You've got the Caledonia Gladiators booked themselves into final alongside Oakland's Wolves. Oakland's Wolves are going in to, you know, the Christmas break sitting on an unbeaten streak. You know, they're 6-0. Sheffield just missing out, losing yesterday, putting up a good fight. Again, slightly tighter rotation, which then they were able to pull themselves back into the game. So I think for me, it's been a really entertaining league. And we're only, 6-7 games in maximum. Yeah,
absolutely. So we're about a minute away. But Rona, when you look across to the Gladiators bench, a fully fit roster we've not seen so much this season. But how much of a difference has 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 made?
I think she has had a massive impact since she has come into the team. You know, I think it's that sort of player they've been missing. And often, you know, fans sit and they talk online, they talk in general, and they say, oh, we're missing this, we're missing that. And I think that's exactly what, you know, head coach 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 Handy's done. They've brought in somebody that is going to go in and play that sort of solid five-person spot and actually go out and put a stamp in the game. And I think it's been really enjoyable to watch them play.
And I suppose, seeing that as well, you'd then seen someone like 𝗿𝗲𝗃 in the last game here really stepped out. I think she had 14 rebounds in that game.
Yeah, she did, and to me that's just big time, because we always talk about scorers, we always talk about, you know, who's put up the points, but actually to me, being able to go out and do that really helped, you know, secure the game for them. It really helped control the game, because I'm a big fan of who controls the boards and can control the game.
Absolutely. So your starters are in for this game. For the Gladiators, it's 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆, Hannah Robb, Kat Tudor, Kirsty Brown and Ree Harris. And for your visitors, it's 𝗀𝗍𝗻𝗄𝗏𝗃, Harrison, 𝗍𝗲𝗱𝘆, Tweedy and Chandler. The referees, Chris Curl, Rosinski and then Charan Nukathu.
Did I get out of the way and say now it's going to be a Christmas cracker?
It's a festive feast. Christmas cracker, festive feast, any kind of play on word we will go with.
Each team has come to slay. Is that too much?
That's too much modern lingo for me. But it's good to see the fans really bought into all the Christmas jumpers. There's loads of Christmas jumpers around. We did it as well. We've got a ceremonial kind of tip off, and one of the sponsors of the club, he's got nice shiny lights in his jumper as well, so all good.
The infamous 𝗍𝗻𝗃𝗀𝗃.
Absolutely. So it looks like your Gladiators in the light blue, your Leicester Riders in the black with the red trim, and we're almost ready to go. Which should be a cracking game. Both teams, the Leicester Riders currently with a 4-3 record, marginally ahead of the Gladiators, who are 3-3. So a big game in the kind of early season standings as we head into this festive break.
I know it was a sort of ceremonial tip, but I'd still be wanting to win it. And you can see both of them did. Sometimes they don't jump, you know, and I'm like, how do I get landed on my head? But I don't know, psychological advantage.
I don't know. So we're off and running. Referee's tipping the ball off, and we are off and running. And if you're just joining us, it's the Gladiators in the blue versus the Riders in the black, and as 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 has the ball. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 cuts in, basically for the cut, and Hannah Robb. Great finish in the basket, a good start for the Gladiators.
Just really nice, well worked sensibly. It has something 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 does so well. You know, it's very cool on the ball, happy to handle it, but then just finds the dime when she needs to.
Chandler with the ball, looking for help. She eventually offloads it to Harrison. Harrison being closely marked by Hannah Robb. Janiczeska drives against Tudor, but it's blocked. And it's a Riders ball on the baseline.
And Tudor likes to block, 4th in the league, averaging just over a block a game, and there's the block already.
Just stole that stat from me there, Rona, but I'll allow you this early on. Tweedy gets the ball, just handles it, late in the clock, blocked from Harrison. The Gladiators are off and running. Gladiators with some early ball movement, and they find 𝗀𝗲𝗱𝘆 cut into the basket, and that's 2 early assists for 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆. Brilliant play by the young French women.
And just nice patient play there, wasn't it? You could see the pick and roll, they saw the mismatch, and they got the ball to where it needed to be.
Gladiators' hands in the passing lane once again, not allowing anything easy for the Riders so far. And it's a steal half court, and it deflects off Harrison, and that is what Hannah Robb just adds to the mix.
She does indeed, and you know she likes to go out, and that's a big part of her defensive game, is getting those steals.
As the Riders slip into a zone now, how the Gladiators will adjust, so interesting to see. 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 looking to feed Harris underneath the basket. She takes a bounce of the ball, doesn't get it to go, and Chandler with the rebound out to Harrison. And the Riders this time trying to get the scoreboard moving. Drives along the baseline, foul on the floor. And that's the wee kind of confident things players like Harrison will need.
It was, you know, you could see the space there just as the Riders players lifted high, and that's what smart move, they're attacking on that baseline.
That's the first foul committed in this game. 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 getting the ball. She feeds in Chandler. Looks to push in against 𝗀𝗲𝗱𝘆, dancing along the baseline, looking for help. Doesn't get anything to go. Ball bobbles around and Hannah Robb gathers it. High pass into Harris, behind underneath, doesn't go. And we've got
Foul there on 𝗿𝗲𝗍𝗍.
technical foul called on 𝗿𝗲𝗍𝗍.
I think it just came through.
As yet, technical called, so Hannah Robb will shoot the ball. What would be the reason for that?
Answers on a postcard.
Unlike Hannah Robb, she misses from the free throw line. She was 100% before that one. There was no argument from 𝗿𝗲𝗍𝗍 either, so she...
So like she'd maybe taken a hit on the face, so it's potentially in response to that.
Possibly, yes. This was a Leicester ball. A 4-0 start for the Gladiators as they trap Harrison under the basket, but 𝗀𝗍𝗍𝗆 gathers it as they try and get across the half-court line. It looked like, I think that would have been an 8-second call, but nothing called there from the official.
So interestingly, somebody was filling me on this, one of my teammates, that even though it might show at 16, it might be 16 points something is on the clock, so that'll be why. Because there was a big one in the Eurocup game last year when everyone, I was like, why has that happened? But that's why, because although we can see the full number,
there's no
we can't
points.
see. Yep.
Harrison cuts baseline, doesn't get it to go, and the Gladiators on running. Riders still scoreless over 2 minutes into the game. 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆 again, baseline. She likes that baseline. Look, and gets it to go, and one.
And what I like there is the smaller player in 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆, you know, attacking Chandler and 𝗿𝗲𝗍𝗍 there and coming away with not only the basket but the and one. And if I was Coach Ben Sally down there, I'm like, why is somebody shorter than you getting the shot away and she's allowing you to foul her?
𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆 averages over 8 points a game and over 4.5 rebounds. 4.5 assists. 85% from the free throw line as she shoots her and one and makes it. Good start for 𝗿𝗲𝗍𝗆.
Maybe more of an issue there for Riders would be
Harrison struggling. The Riders are struggling to get the ball in play. Tudor against Chandler. And this full court press from the Gladiators is causing some real issues for the Riders. And there's another hands in the passing lane. And yeah, this early full court press is putting real pressure on the on the Riders.
Yep. And the people in the courtside seats got a real bit of the action here. That's what they say, isn't it?
Absolutely. Full involvement. Watch your glasses don't fall over. Your festive fizz.
Wonder if anyone's playing festive commentators bingo.
Another hands in the passing lane again. The Gladiators really active early on.
And you can see the players out there, aren't they? They are giving their 100%. They're making sure they're making their minutes on court count.
And pass deflected out as Chandler looks to find 𝗿𝗲𝗍𝗆𝗆.
I think she was looking to dive back door there, and it was maybe quite fortunate.
That we came off a deflection, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's a smart idea when you're being played that high, that's what you want to do. Make your defender just have to take that half step off you.
Harrison with a bit of space. 𝗀𝗲𝗱𝘆 almost finds speed again. It's 𝘀𝗁𝗲𝗽 with the hands in, deflecting the ball out of bounds. And all this is doing is ticking down the shot clock for the Riders. Chandler for 3. And it drops. First points for the Riders on this afternoon.
And that's a nice look and a nice shot from her. You just wonder how the defender get lost there.
𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 doesn't get it to go. Chandler does only shoot 13% from 3. Harrison against Rob. This exciting matchup already. Harrison gets up and now the Riders are getting scores to drop. 9-5, 6.5 to go in the quarter. Tudor cuts to the basket. Doesn't get it to go, and that's a foul called on Chandler, and Tudor will go to the line shooting 2. Sorry, Tudor will go to the line shooting 2. Said that round the wrong way. Chandler with the foul.
And Gladiators, what I think they've come out to do and started this quarter is doing really well getting it to the hoop. Sometimes we see them opting for that 3-point shot, but they're getting in and they're making teams, you know, make the decision whether to foul, whereas often you see that's what teams do against them.
Tudor knocks down the first. And after that, such a promising start for the Gladiators in that kind of opening 3.5 minutes. It's only a 5-point margin, so Leicester Riders are slowly getting into this game. The scoreboard's they're not well out of this quarter yet. And Tudor gets both to drop, and she checks out for 𝗍𝗏𝗱𝘆. 𝗍𝗏𝗱𝘆 also checks in for the Riders.
And 𝗍𝗏𝗱𝘆, what a sort of season she's having, isn't it? Now that she's fully stepped up into this team, you know, is playing big minutes and is putting up some excellent performances. 15 and 3 last weekend.
Drives in, cuts Chandler for 3 again in the corner, gets another one to go. And that's not probably in the Gladiators scout report there.
And that's where the players are going to have to adjust. They're going to have to respect that 3-point shot. She's hit 2, you don't let her hit a third.
Adams driving to the basket, doesn't get the up and under scoop to go. As Adams doesn't re-establish herself back in the court. It's a turnover and it's a Riders ball.
Kirsty Brown has a way of finding rebounds when they shouldn't be found, doesn't she? I think that's what caught Adams off guard there, if she had come up with that.
And it's the full court press from the Gladiators again as they look to trap the Riders in their own half. Dances round, trying to establish Chandler up against Delaney Byrne. 𝗍𝗏𝗱𝘆 driving to the hoop against 𝗍𝗏𝗱𝘆. High off the glass, nice find, nice finish. And it's a 1-point ball game here. Halfway through this opening quarter. The Riders have fought back really well here. That early ball movement from the Gladiators is slowed down as 𝗍𝗏𝗱𝘆 grabs Erin McCarrican on the arm.
Yeah, I think, you know, I know 𝗍𝗏𝗱𝘆 doesn't look happy about the call, but it was a smart foul by her. She understood there was a mismatch there and has done her best, you know, to try and get round the height of McCarrican. It's an end line ball, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Gladiators looking to get the ball in play using their full time here. Hannah Robb in the corner, high arcing shot, doesn't go. But Harrison with the rebound. And you see the Riders spreading to the corner, too sure. Harrison goes on her own. Foul call and 1. And the Riders take the lead, 12-11.
And that's
fine comeback there.
Yeah, and that's a great take there by Harrison. You know, you had 2 of the Gladiators players back there. And, you know, the way that 𝗍𝗏𝗱𝘆 dropped to the corner, and it really meant that the Gladiators, they couldn't just fully commit to blocking off the lane. And that's obviously why she's drawn the foul, because at the last minute they've stepped in.
That puts Hannah Robb on 2 personal fouls. As Harrison converts the and 1 attempt. 13-11, 5 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. An opening 5 minutes that went one way then the other. And as we predicted, a close one.
Kat Tudor, you know, subbing back in there, has been scoreless since she actually left the court, so potentially a coaching reason there.
The Gladiators' ball movement really helped them in that opening couple of minutes exchanges, but it's now got the Riders dictating the tempo both ends of the floor. 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 pulls up for three, and it drops! And that's a quick timeout by coach 𝗀𝗱𝗆𝗆, and the Riders have turned this one around. Lead 16-11. Big shot there, Rona.
It was, and you know, great work by the Riders. At first you thought, okay, Gladiators have come to play, and with the intensity and the pressure they're putting on, but as that sort of intensity and pressure has dropped off from the Gladiators, Leicester have been able to chip away at that, and they've now, you know, blown it out into a 5-point lead.
Early on, the Leicester Riders now 6 rebounds in the game to the Gladiators 3. The Gladiators defence very active, but in the end, still resulting in Riders getting off shots.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to, you know, Gladiators are an excellent team on the offensive rebounds. You know, they're averaging almost 12 offensive boards a game, and we saw, you know, Kirsty Brown coming down with them, but it was unfortunate that it wasn't kept in play when she looked for the dish. But that's something you're going to have to do more of. If your shots aren't dropping, you need to crash those boards hard, because what we're seeing is Riders are getting out and running against that. You can have the best press in the world, but you're not going to get to press if the ball hasn't gone out of court, and that's going to have to come from made baskets.
And if your coach, the Leicester Riders coach, and right now your team has just turned that around, they almost called a timeout, coaches cancelled it off that, they've gone on this big scoring run. But you're getting Chandler, those 2 threes would have been in the Gladiator scout report. From a coach's point of view, when you have only got a short rotation, that must be pretty good.
No, it must be, and obviously they are going to have to look to manage their fouls better, and they do seem to have tidied that up a little bit, so that's going to be pleasing as well. But to have gone on an 11-0 run, you know, that's what's getting the Riders players hyped at the moment.
So that 11-0 run, the Gladiators coming out of that timeout with a set play, the ball movement slowing down as they look to move around this zone defence of the Riders. They get to Adams, he gets a boot in the air for the mid-range shot, doesn't go. 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆𝗆 chasing it down, almost went back on herself under the basket. Tudor looking for help, 𝗿𝗏𝗆𝗆𝗆 driving baseline, scoops it up and under. It's a battle for the rebounds, and it's all a bit untidy for the Gladiators right now. 𝗿𝗏𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 drives, looking for help. And it's another opportunity for the Gladiators. Can they spread their shooters? 𝗏𝗏𝗆𝗆 for three, and this is something the Gladiators really needed.
That was, and that came off the back of those offensive rebounds, didn't it, Grant? Just like what I've been mentioning, they need to be crashing those boards. They did, and they were eventually rewarded for it.
About backing down Robin Lewis. Chandler looked to have another three, but she doesn't take it. Harrison on to Adams. Pick and roll, nice find. Nothing goes, but it's a great find by the Riders. They'll look to probably establish that again. Robin Lewis takes the extra dribble out to 𝗏𝗏𝗆𝗆𝗆 for three. Doesn't go, but again, Delaney-Byrne chasing down that rebound, but it's a 2-on-2 fast break here. Harrison from Januszewski. Doesn't go, but gets fouled at the basket. 2 shots for the Riders.
Yeah, nice find there by Januszewska. And Harrison spent a lot of time on the floor at the moment, isn't she? When she's going up and off those shots, but doing well, getting the calls, getting herself to the line.
And it's this time when you've not subbed out yet. You've only had that one time where players can get that breath back. But the Gladiators' offense almost stalling there. There's not a lot of ball movement. Whereas in the open court, the Riders looking really good.
I think they look dangerous in the open court, don't they? They're coming with speed.
Harrison misses the second. 𝗿𝗏𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 gathers the rebound, and the ball's in Robin Lewis's hand. The Riders leading by 3. 3 minutes to go in the quarter. They look to find Byrne, doesn't go. The defence from Leicester holding up strongly now. Harrison drives in, and one as Tudor gets her in the head, and that's Harrison going to the line once again. She's already on 8 points for this game.
Smart work by Harrison there, you know, up and under, a little pause, little hang in the air. Tudor, you know, I was like, is she coming in for the block? Because that's what we know she can do, but she should have stood her ground there, Tudor. And you can see she's frustrated at herself. But I mean, the temptations there, especially when you know it's someone slightly shorter than you. But always the ultimate sin, giving away that easy and one.
Harrison, tremendous start to this game. She's up to 9 points.
And as someone who averages, you know, just about 15 a game, that's great work by her.
Garrigan driving left on Januszewski. Out to 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗻. Travel called. Had the space, probably just needs to go up and take the shot.
You could see she actually thought about the shot and then thought, no, I'm going to attack in. But it's just so crowded in there at the moment. Riders are doing a really good job. You saw when they tried to put the ball into Delaney Byrne, you could see them waiting to tip it and to come and steal that.
Riders lead by 6. So the boot gets to almost gets the hoop. Extra pass into the corner. Bigot for 3. Doesn't go. Tempo getting pushed here by the Gladiators and needing to get an outcome from this possession to keep the scoreboard ticking for after that tremendous start. Byrne for 3. And it drops. Delaney Byrne makes the 3.
She is, you know, she's second in this team for 3-point shooting, so if she's got that open look, I'm sure she's got authority to shoot that.
38% coming into this game. Great find by the Riders. Harrison into Chandler. And that's a deadly duel so far.
Yeah, I really like how they're working together.
Tremendous high tempo start to this game. Tudor almost double teamed there. Adams this time drives to the basket and it goes and 1. Great drive by 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗻. The Estonian international will be getting to the line for that extra bonus shot as it just brings the score that little bit closer.
And we know that's her preferred thing, is getting to the hoop. But also, how many and ones have we had to open this quarter in this game?
I think that might be the 4th.
Harrison, you know, the recipient there of the foul as opposed to the one getting to the line.
22-19 as 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗻 will look to convert that on their bonus point. 60% she was heading into this game from the free throw line. She'll be looking to increase that. The Gladiators trying to trap on the full court. Light and the Riders break it down pretty comfortably. Bigot to Harrison. Tweedy was open underneath. The corner shooter, Aboud for 3. Doesn't go. Harrison though with the rebound. And that's a tremendous hustle play by the Riders to keep the scoreboard ticking over.
And Shara Aboud just walked through there like there was no defenders on the court at all.
Yeah, Aboud, good drive there. Looked for the extra pass. Harris into the corner. Robin Lewis catch and shoot, looks short. Gladiators try and keep the possession alive, but it's Harrison in the open floor again. She is deadly in that situation, but doesn't count. Travel called, easy one for the referee.
Her Euro step went to too many countries there.
Yes, too many stops. 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗻𝗆 had such a promising start to the game. The Gladiators will be looking for something in this final 46 seconds of the quarter. 24-20. The zone defence for the Riders causing the Gladiators some trouble. Adam driving in late in the clock. Harris with the mid-range. Doesn't go, but a battle inside for the rebounds. Doesn't go, and the Riders have another opportunity before the clock expires. Not a big difference between the two clocks. Harrison looking up, she drives against, oh what a finish. Harrison into double figures, 6 seconds on the game clock, sorry, in the quarter clock. 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗻𝗆 gets to the basket. And that'll do for an unbelievably high score in first quarter. 26-22. And Rona, both teams getting to the basket pretty easily.
They are, and you know, when the ball's moving, they're making it look easy, aren't they? But then, like you say, that Riders zone, they're playing very high on it, and Gladiators are then playing higher with that. You know, you're getting closer and closer to the half, so you should really be looking to try and get the ball, you know, into that free throw line. Look where the spaces are. Yes, Riders are doing a great job of making sure they double down on the post, and they're sort of hedging on that, so it's making the pass look more challenging, but that means there's a space somewhere else, especially against a zone. It's about cutting, it's about moving, and it's about making the ball do the work as well. But Riders in that open court, when they get out, and Harrison, it just looks like no one can stop her at the moment. You know, on that open floor, she's finding space. On the rebound, she's coming up where she's got no authority that she should be pulling down rebounds like she is. But, you know, pulled down 7 last weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Harrison leading all scoring for the game and for the Riders, 11 points. She's on 3 rebounds and also 3 assists. She's doing it all on both ends of the floor. For the Gladiators, captured our leading scorer on 7. And it's 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 on 2 assists. Robin Lewis tied for the lead. McCarrick and Rob all on 2 rebounds. From 3, we've only seen 10 threes for the game. 5 made, 2 for the Gladiators, 3 for the Riders, and a really high scoring game where both teams will probably look for their defence to do more this second quarter.
They will. You know, Riders last weekend, when they took down Manchester, they had 24 points in both the first and the second quarter. So them coming out in 26, you know, they're playing well. They're playing their good offensive style basketball at the moment. Like you say, for both teams, it's going to be what they can do defensively to stop the other.
Yeah, both teams getting their business done out of the basket. Only 3 turnovers apiece. Both point guards doing a really good job of keeping the game nice and tidy. And it's a Riders ball to start this second quarter. Remember, the Riders are in black, the Gladiators are in the light blue. And we're in for an enthralling encounter. A brilliant start to this game. Can the Riders get it in? No, that's the trouble as they eventually get it into 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆. 𝗀𝗏𝗱𝗆𝗃 trying to grab a drive against Tudor. Has to go back out to Harrison. A boot against McCarrick and short in the basket. The Gladiators will be happy with that. Good opening play there from the Gladiators defensively. Riders back into this man-to-man defence. Tay Adams to the basket. Overcooks it as she gets there. This Riders off and running as the Gladiators try and put pressure on the outlet pass. Bring it to 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 underneath the basket. Tries with the extra pass, but it's a turnover there and Tudor's driving. And she turns the ball over in frustration, looking for a foul as the Gladiators coach, but doesn't get it. Bring it all the way to the basket. Doesn't drop either. A couple of good looks by both teams to start this second period. Tay Adams probably does the right thing, just slowing it down. McCarrick looking for help, gets it from 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆𝗆. 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗆𝗆𝗏 drives against Bigot to the 3-throw line jumper. Doesn't go. Riders with the rebound. She messes it up. Oh, 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 just tidies everything up and again brings the score even closer. And that's where 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗆𝗏𝗆, the pro of 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗆𝗏𝗆, is really getting in the passing lanes.
Yeah, just really smart, mature play there by her. Didn't get it to drop, but then makes sure she does her defensive assignment.
A boot getting to the basket. Doesn't go. Looking for a foul from the referees. And the Gladiators defence caught napping there as the Rider was unlucky not to convert. Harris trying to establish herself against Harrison, and she gets it, and it's a tie game. Just under 8 minutes to go in the half.
Smart work there by Rhea Harris. Really nice work. Harrison getting her hand in the lane. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 got sort of taken out on the turn, but nice hands.
𝗀𝗏𝗋𝗃 driving, spins from the baseline. Doesn't go. A brilliant move. She's unlucky there not to convert. The tempo and the energy in this game is really high. A competitive game so far. Tudor driving against 𝗀𝗏𝗋𝗃𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗃 into the traffic. Doesn't get it to go, but fine for the rebounds. And it belongs to the Riders. Ken McGee checks into the game for the first time. But it's a timeout called on the floor.
Grant, that was quite frantic.
I feel like the timeout's for me and you as well, which was delightful. And as Chantel Handy receives a tech warning for talking to the referees there, she wasn't happy in that drive. But yeah, Rona, 26 all. The Riders scoreless in the opening exchanges there. But a couple of good looks.
I think has very much started like the first quarter started, hasn't it? With Gladiators coming out, you know, full of energy, intensity, getting some looks. Some of them have been quite off balance and things, so Riders just need to calm, settle, get back into what was working for them. The thing is, 𝗀𝗏𝗋𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 had a nice look, Harrison had a nice look, it just didn't drop. But it's maybe just falling in on those rebounds and making sure, you know, that they're still trying to, you know, keep that scoreboard ticking over for themselves as well.
26 all, 7 minutes and 19 seconds on the clock. I'll be interested to see who comes out of this timeout with the more energy or the more control of the game.
And just, be sure in what they're doing. Make sure, when you're making a pass, know that it's going to get there, not, oh, it might get there, it might not. You want to be sure at this point in the game that what you want to do is going to be happening.
As I said, Kerry McGee checks into the game for the first time. Full court press. Hannah Robbs also back in on the floor for 2 fouls. And she's straight up in against 𝗀𝗄𝗃𝗃. Bickett driving in. Dishes out quickly. Tees for Yates, who chucks up the 3. Doesn't go. I think that was a bit of a rush shot there. Robb into Harris.
Harris just ran out of court there, didn't she? That's twice now she's tried to save the ball, but has actually given it straight to a Riders player.
Chandler getting to the basket.
I think that's a tough call there. It was just as Harris was coming across. It's one of those ones that, yes, it wouldn't necessarily be fair if Chandler lost the ball in a turnover there. There we go.
Eastworth Yates inbounding the ball. Two Gladiators deflect it and it ends up in its target. Dunsire into 𝗀𝗄𝗃𝗃. And that's a foul as the Riders will go to the line again for some 2 free throws.
Emma Dunsire, checking in as well. Product of coming through the Lady Rocks pathway down here, then went down to play her basketball at Loughborough. So it's pleasing to see her back up here getting minutes and coming out with almost the assist here to get 𝗀𝗄𝗃𝗃 to the line.
Makes the first. And converts the second, and that's their first scores in this second period. As 𝗀𝗄𝗃𝗃 checks out for 𝗿𝗃.
Bit more height back again in that sort of Riders
back into that zone defence. They had some great success with this early on in the first quarter as they fought back from as you said, that 11-0 run they had. Into the corner, McGee, high arcing shot again, and it drops. Big shot for Kerry McGee, her first points win of the game. Gladiators take the lead by 1. Cross-court pass, 𝗿𝗃 takes the 3 attempt, and it drops!
And where was the defender there? Nice identification by 𝗿𝗃 that she was wide open. Confident to knock that down.
Harris backing down 𝗿𝗃, spins right, spins left, doesn't get it to drop, but 𝗿𝗃 gathers a rebound. And that's it, if you leave anyone open, they can make that shot. He's for Yates, driving to the basket, into traffic. Blocking foul called, and she'll go to the line for 2. Chantel Handy not looking too happy with that call.
I think just having a wee regroup there as well, the Gladiators, talk about why it happened, what happened before it, because often we see what happens when the whistle's blown or the basket goes in, but there's always stages before that that potentially could have stopped that outcome.
East for Yates, 75% from the line. She converts the first, but misses the second as it bobbles around. Gladiators looking to move the ball quickly up the court now. McGee looked for the pick and roll with Harris, doesn't go. Cross court pass into East for Yates. We've seen some big threes from her so far. She fakes the pass, drives inside, up against Hannah Robb, doesn't go. Who's taking the pass? Great hands by 𝗿𝗏𝗟𝗃 with the volleyball set pass to McGee. And this game certainly has it all so far, Rona.
It does. You can see Harris just looking to establish themselves there, but then actually...
Force pass bobbles around, still back in the Gladiators. Shot clock stays with the Gladiators on 5 seconds.
Tough work in there to be a post today, isn't it?
Yeah, tough inside. And I think that's it. Will that be a baseline ball?
It will be, but I think more importantly at the Riders end was that actual foul went against Chandler, so puts her onto second as opposed to, I thought might have gone against 𝗿𝗃𝗃, which would have pushed her onto 3. So I think actually Riders probably happier that it's put a second player onto 2 as opposed to putting 1 on 3, because that's your big height presence in there.
So 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 checks out. Ball in McGee's hand. She's got Harrison up against her. Looking the Gladiators to set someone up with Harris. There's the screen. They look for the roll. They get it. And establish a nice left-hand finish. The Riders lead by 1. The lead again changes hands.
Lovely steal there by 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆. Really nice work.
He's for 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆, showing her frustration on the turnover there.
I think the referee's just having a quick discussion about whether it was an unsportsmanlike or not.
Stays just a normal holding foul on the floor.
I think that's what we've seen a couple of times now from 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆, haven't we? Just being able to pick the pockets, making sure she stays in the play, and that's the defence that you really like to see, both as a spectator and as a coach.
𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 gets round the moving screen from Chandler.
And that's where maybe that last second foul has actually come to bite her, because that then puts Chandler on to her 3rd. And it's just, one of those fouls you just don't need to give. You're hedging out. You're really just wanting to push the guards higher. So to come out and bump, 3 fouls with 4.5 minutes left to go in the second.
Absolutely, and that's got quick from basically being on 0 team fouls almost a minute ago. The Riders up to 3. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 gets all the way to the basket, doesn't get it to 2 to convert, but a nice find getting to the basket. Good hands by Kerry McGee, but it ends up in Harrison's hands. Riders still lead by 1, 32-31, 4 minutes on the clock or just over. She's round the screen, offensive foul called. The moving screen, 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 is now up to her 3rd foul as well.
And you can see this is coming from the ball being out of bounds and Leicester inbounding it, and that's where, Gladiators are going to have to do that, because Riders are so good when they're out on that open court, so they've got to make sure, they're not allowing Riders to do that, and that's what they're doing at the moment.
Riders sitting in that zone again. They had some success earlier on with that. They'll be looking to continue that. The scoring isn't as free-flowing as it was in the opening quarter. A little bit deeper in the zone this time, but it's a 2 screens, and Robin Lewis gets to the basket. Great play there, and Harris with that back screen allowing that space to the hoop.
You're not going to get a more open look than that, are you, Grant?
And a foul called as Robin Lewis pushes into Harrison. Easy one to spot.
Just a little tightening of the knee brace down there.
Yeah, loose strapping. And how is that when you're seeing a team keep, from a Gladiators point of view, when they see a team that keeps changing between that zone and man-to-man defence, how difficult is that from a kind of mindset point of view?
I think it doesn't matter overly much. It's just making sure you identify it and you run the right thing, and you keep doing what you should be doing. I think sometimes people panic in a zone, some people love a zone because they know they're going to have the space to shoot.
Harrison gets a little bit of space against Lewis. 𝗿𝗏𝗆𝗆 almost gathers in the rebound. She's staying in the game on 3 fouls. Dunsire backing in Harris, but great help by Aboud.
Just Kirsty Brown should have looked to her left hand, and Rob was there on the 3-point line. That's a tough pass down the middle to your big.
Great help defence though by the Riders. Needs for Yates to get it to Dunsire. Again, big minutes with them being a little bit short-handed. Harrison with the crossover. Bumps inside, great find. She is having a game.
And she can finish. She is finding ways to finish, and she's carving herself some space out there.
Riders go back up by 1. Less than 3 minutes to go in the half. An enthralling game so far. Zone defence almost breaking down for the Riders, but they managed to get it sorted. Robin Lewis late in the clock, and it drops. The 3 ball from Robin Lewis, and she's up to 5. Gladiators back in the lead again, 36-34. Harrison going full court, backing down Tudor. And the ball bobbles round and drops and ties it up once again, Rona.
And at the moment you just feel like she's unguardable out there. She is causing problems every time she's catching the ball.
Kirsty Brown looks to drive in, she dishes it out. Dunsire, there's someone opening somewhere in the corner. Extra pass, Rob for 3. High arcing shot doesn't go, bobbles around, but Gladiators hungry in those rebounds. Lewis for 3 again. Doesn't go. Harrison gathers another rebound. She's doing it on all ends of the floor. Abood taking Tudor for a dance, and Harris. Dunsire 4-2 on the toe the line, doesn't go. Hannah Robb to the basket. It doesn't go for her again. And the tempo is high from both teams. Looking for someone just to control this tempo now. Get the scoreboard operators moving. And that's a 3 by Harrison. She is feeling it tonight. She is up to 18 points. 39-36. 70 seconds of this opening half remaining. An enthralling game here we have tonight in East Kilbride. Hard screen by Kirsty Brown. And that's an offensive call, and the ball will go the other way.
Yeah, and you can see Kirsty Brown's frustration there with that pick. But Harrison is out there, and you know she is grabbing every headline, whether it's scoring, whether it's like getting the offensive call to go for her, you know, against Kirsty Brown there, whether it's, you know, pulling down the rebound. She is just out there, and she is like, okay, I saw what you did yesterday, Dale. I'm going to see if I can match that. That's the vibe I'm getting here. Yeah,
she's on 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists according to StatCast. That's not updated yet for us in live stats. But she is having a game. An index of 21 and we're not even at the end of the half. A brilliant performance so far from Harrison, the Wake Forest graduate. She's averaging only 15 for the season, and she's already surpassed that. If you're Coach Handy, are you just looking to ride that wave, or are you looking to lock down Harrison?
I think someone's always going to have to score for a team. You know, that's going to happen. But at the moment, Harrison's getting to dictate it, isn't she, down? When she's got the ball in her hands, they've had someone slightly taller marker, someone, you know, more her height marker, and she's just finding ways to score. And if that's going to happen, you stop her getting the ball. You know, and if she's picking it up on the backcourt, you're going to have to be there with her and make sure you're doing that. That's how you stop these players. If she was the only one scoring, you know, there's ways around that to stop that, but she's also finding other people, she's involving other people, and that's when it's a problem. But Riders' offense, when they're able to get out and run, but Gladiators have got to put the ball in the basket, or they've got to find ways. You saw it earlier on in the quarter where they maybe double on whoever does get the rebound to just slow down that outlet pass and let the others scramble and rotate round on defence. Whereas when you're kind of letting them get the rebound and bring the ball up and then playing defence, that's making it too easy for them.
It's a Riders ball on the sideline, 1:02 on the clock of this half.
Riders coming back out with a smaller, probably faster lineup, but Gladiators need to look to try and exploit that, but also not force that pass inside. We've seen that too many times, going into the key, into the bigs, and actually they're so heavily marked, it's tough.
Big final minute of this half that could really set the tempo for this second half. Rob going for this Abood to the basket. Ball's down, doesn't go. Byrne with the rebound. Into 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆's hand. Good hands by Abood.
Byrne did well in that last defensive play. You know, Abood, Byrne coming across just put off Abood enough, you know, to make sure that she didn't get the shot, but didn't foul, most importantly.
Riders slot back into that zone off the inbound. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 with a little bit of space. Doesn't get it to go, and they'll just be ushered out of bounds. Sideline ball to the Riders. 35 seconds on the clock. Is that one of these ones where the defence has kind of forced 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 into that shot?
Yeah, to an extent.
Hands by Hannah Robb. Doesn't get it in. Doesn't keep it in, sorry, by Hannah Robb. Sorry, Rona.
No, don't you worry. You're pardoned.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Jana Zeska guarded by the much bigger Kirsty Brown on the full court. This is where the difference in the height of the lineup is. Jana Zeska gets to the basket with relative ease and gathers her own rebound, but doesn't convert, and it will stay a Riders ball. And just Coach Handy almost has her hands on her head there in disbelief of how easy that was for Katie Jaruzelska to get to the basket. Backdoor to Harrison up against 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆. 5-second differential on the shot clock. Ball bobbles round. Jump ball belongs to the Gladiators.
And you'd say at the moment, Riders look hungry, don't they? They look like they're more up for this. Again, like I said, smaller lineup out there, but they're coming up with the O board. You know, they're getting to the hoop, they're finding nice, easy looks. You know, credit to them.
Timeout on the floor. It's 39-36 in the favour of the Riders. A 14-13 quarter we've got here as the Gladiators are edging this second period. But Rona, if you're both teams, the defence have certainly stepped up in this second quarter.
It has, and also shots aren't dropping the same. You know, you're seeing some nice looks at both ends of the floor, and that's going to happen. You know, you can't hit every single shot that you go for, but it's what they're doing out of that. And I think at the moment, although Gladiators are winning the point by a quarter, I think Riders are still finding better ways to, you know, make sure that they slow down the Gladiators, make it more challenging for them. Whereas too often, Riders are just doing a great job at finding looks at the hoop and, you know, making it look simple at times.
Both teams will be returning to the floor. An action-packed game we've got here at Play Sport this afternoon. Harrison still leading all scorers on 18 points. Tweedy leads the rebounding race in 6. It's Hannah Robb for the Gladiators who's leading the game in assists. The battle of the turnovers is tied 8 apiece. Both teams doing a pretty decent job of looking after the ball. Gladiators 20 points in the paint compared to the 18 of the Riders. And we've got 11 seconds on the clock. And what could be a big possession here at our hands. Hard screen by Byrne. They look for Tudor. Steps 3. High shot and shot doesn't go. And that's it. Shot clock expires. Half time here at Play Sport as the visiting Leicester Riders take a 3-point lead into the half-time interval. 39-36. The Gladiators unable to convert in that final possession. They win the quarter battle 14-13 but still trail by 3. It's Harrison leading all scoring on 18 points and just under 18 minutes on court. And we're about to join Rona courtside when I think it'll be Donny McDonald comes over. He's on his way over, but an action-packed first half. It's Harrison again. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists for the Gladiators. It's 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 on 7. And when you're ready, we're going to join Rona courtside with Donny McDonald.
The Gladiators came out with intensity in that first quarter. It seems to have dipped a little bit, kind of come back the second. Is that something you're going to want to start with in the crowd?
Yeah, it started in the timeouts. We've been trying to get that intensity back. We started great. We let our energy drop. It's been a pretty even second quarter, but like I said before the game, Leicester are a very good team. We're going to have to compete really hard to get a result here.
They are, and 3 points down at the half. What are you going to want to come out and do at the start of that third?
I think first quarter our defence wasn't great. Second quarter defence better. We're letting Harrison get going too much. We're obviously going to have to make sure we focus in on her and then just look to see, can we use our numbers advantage, can we keep pushing the tempo and hope we let them tire more than we do.
Okay, thank you for your time. And that wraps us up for the end of the first half action with the Caledonia Gladiators trailing the Leicester Riders 36-39.
their building for poor power. So then you blame their building. Right. Go back on 2. What? Could also be at one point those Brad Box guys dying down.
It's funny, I think every game yesterday had a streak and comps, but these stats.
Yeah, Cardiff had a comp there.
Two, I think. I'm not paying enough attention, but I'm like, are they going to this big one that they're staying mad when it's low? I think potentially that's what's going on.
I think we'll see a lot of goals saying well. I think. And we are back 2 minutes until the start of the second half, where the Leicester Riders currently lead 36-39. The visitors being led by Harrison. She's on 18 points at the half. A dominant performance so far that the Gladiators haven't been able to slow down. And Ron, if you're heading into the second half, if you're the visiting Leicester Riders, a little bit short-handed, you must be pretty happy.
You will be, and it's, you know, you've had time to recoup and, you know, sort of rest, but also when you're feeling good, and they must be feeling good, you know, it's a game of runs, they seem to be getting, you know, the bigger advantages as well on these runs, so they'll be wanting to keep this tempo going and keep pushing the pace, because that's what's suiting them at the moment.
And if you're the Gladiators, a slower second quarter, you won the second quarter, but didn't get the same scoring output from some of their players.
You didn't, and I think, like Coach McDonald touched on actually, but they didn't stop the likes of Harrison, and that's something you've got to do if you want to take control of this game, is make sure that you're getting those defensive stops. A 1.1 in a quarter, you know, when you were down 4, you've got to chip away at it. So I think this third quarter is going to be crucial for both teams. I think 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆, Chandler, they've got to make sure they don't pick up any more fouls, because that could make them, you know, quite vulnerable to the Gladiators looking to drive at them. But I think as well, Gladiators overly forcing the ball at times inside, so they need to be swinging it round the outside, because they are having success from three-point land, shooting about 36% at the moment, which, you know, is a decent enough return. You know you've got three-point shooters there, that will come.
Yeah, I suppose as a team they shoot just over 32% from 3. But Ronan, the Gladiators look to have struggled against that zone. The Riders have switched in and out of it pretty frequently. You're saying about forcing the passes. Is that why? Because they're having to react quite quickly to that defensive switches?
I think that's what's happening there. I think you're totally right, Grant. But there's a lot of basketball still to be played. You know, you're coming in 3 points down. I don't think Riders will see that as they've pretty much won the game. I don't see Gladiators thinking they've pretty much lost the game. I think, like I say, this third quarter is going to be crucial, and I think I'm going to call it now, but I think it'll be a higher scoring quarter. I think it'll be interesting for one of the teams.
Let's hope so. Let's hope that the ball is dropping through the hoop, and we are in for an action-packed second half. It's been a tremendous game so far here at Play Sport. Sunday before Christmas. Are you Christmas ready, Rona?
No. I was like, once I finish work, I'll have time to do things. Then you finish work, and there's no time to do things.
Well, Rona will be at the shops tomorrow, and we're almost underway. We are underway, second half. Remember, the Riders currently lead by 3 there in the black, and with the red trim, and the Gladiators in the light blue. Aboud trying to get some space against Tudor. Has to put up the mid-range shot. Doesn't go. Battle inside. 𝗀𝗻𝗄𝗃 battling against 𝘀𝗲𝗍𝗆, but it's the Gladiators who will look to get the first score now.
And she'd done so well at keeping the ball alive down that end.
𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆𝗆 for 3. Doesn't go, but Kirsty Brown fighting for the rebound. Deflected pass out to Harris, out to Rob, sorry. And they look to get in. They find Harris underneath. Doesn't go up first time, but puts it in second time.
I think I tried to go up there first time when she did it. Yeah, because really nice find there. And I was hoping that Rob would see that dish.
Gladiators trim that margin of it behind by 1. 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆𝗆 out is for 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆𝘆, sorry. Harrison for 3. Doesn't go. The Gladiators looking to keep Riders scoreless for as long as they can. We saw that at the start of the game. The Riders are able to battle through it. Extra pass, will it be Hannah and Rob for 3? Doesn't go. Battle inside for the rebounds. 2 Gladiators going at it. And it's Chandler going down the other end. Harrison crosses over and round 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆𝗆. And an easy 2. She's up to 20 points for this game.
Harrison uses her length really well there, although she is shorter. You know, you can see she's got the wingspan. Really smart move. Easy finish for her.
She's doing it all, both inside and outside, getting her scoring. Harris to Rob. Not the strongest of handoffs there. There's a battle for Rob now to keep the ball alive. Late in the shot clock. Will she notice it? She goes to the basket. Too late. 24-second shot clock violation. Turnover and Riders ball.
Yeah, and props to 𝗀𝗍𝗄𝗃 there. Identified that the double had gone out, and then that had left Harris, you know, unguarded on the inside, so dropped across into that. So really smart work, because that caught across that passing lane, which then forced Tudor to have to go the long way round. So yeah, real nice defensive rotation there by the Riders.
Riders lead back up to 3. 8 minutes on the clock. Harrison skips past the defence pretty easily. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆𝗆 going against Tudor. And it's a Gladiators ball. Dribbled off her own foot there. The Riders with the ball.
And this Riders bench are into it. You can see they're up there cheering for their teammates. You know, defensive stops, offensive scores. And that only helps when you're a player on the court, when you know it's a full team that's behind it.
Deflected by Byrne, almost deflects into her own basket, but good defense by the Gladiators. As the Gladiators look to get it down the court. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆 into Delaney Byrne. She looks to get Kirsty Brown under the basket. She backs down, she goes to her right. Doesn't get it to go.
Just maybe a little bit forced there from Brown. Yeah, you've got the mismatch, but she had good position on her.
𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆 steps in, steps back for 3. Doesn't go again. Gladiators with the rebound. Kirsty Brown goes chasing for it. As they look to establish the inside presence there of Delaney Byrne up against Chandler, but it's out to Brown.
Quite static out there, isn't it, Grant, on the offensive end?
Step back 2 for Catcher. Doesn't go. Brown gathers it, but drops it again. And it's a slow start for the Gladiators this quarter.
This is because I called it as a higher scoring quarter, isn't it?
Wasn't going to mention that.
But we did see last weekend, you know, Gladiators managed to hold Lions to 2 points in that third quarter. Riders themselves lost their third quarter, but still managed to hold out for the win against Manchester. So they'll be happy with how this is going along. It's definitely advantage Riders.
6.5 minutes on the clock of this third quarter. 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 dancing round. She looks to an option. She's got it in the corner for 𝗀𝗍𝗄𝗃𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 for 3. Bobbles round, doesn't go. Battle inside. It's Bigot. 𝗀𝗍𝗄𝗃𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 for 3. Goes! Riders with the awesome ball movement there.
And
Second chance opportunity converted.
Finding that open person, finding that open space.
The Riders push their lead to 6. The Gladiators struggling to get anything going on offense. Energy. Sorry, Rona. On you go.
I was going to say probably the same as you. The DJ's trying to get it going, aren't they, for the Gladiators? He's just a bit lackluster out there at the moment, but Riders doing such a good job.
𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 pulls up for the 3. Ball bounces all the way to Harrison. No Gladiator looking for that rebound. And Harrison has the match for any defender up against her right now. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 for space again, and she is feeling it. As she's up to 10 points for the game. The former Newcastle Eagles. Defensively all over 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 as well. Rob now with the ball in the corner with Harrison closely battling it out. 𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗃 swats it out of her hands.
And Riders are up for this, aren't they? They have come out the hungrier team. They're wanting to be out there, they're battling, they're finding their looks, and they look confident taking them, don't they, Grant? Whereas you find Gladiators look a bit more shaky when they're looking to take the shot, not floating with the same confidence.
Yeah, you just have to look at someone like 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆. She is flowing off the energy from her teammates and from herself. Harrison running into a hard screen from McCarrican, and that's a huge 3 from Hannah Robb. That little bit of space just allowing the scoreboard to tick over. 47-41, a 6-point lead for the Riders. 𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗃 going all the way to the basket. She gets it off to Tweedy to Harrison. And the Riders are into their set. 𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗃 for 3, trying to reply, but it's 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 for the rebound and the 2. And she's having a big third quarter here. The Gladiators not getting those rebounds this quarter. Ball beginning to move around for the Gladiators. Crossover by Robb. Floater. And that's it. The Gladiators, Hannah Robb's here to play now.
Yeah, and you can see she gave up her 3-point shot and knew she could get herself to hoop, and a really nice soft touch finish.
Tweedy at the basket. And that was a hard hedge there by Delaney Byrne, who just allowed Tweedy to get to the basket.
Yeah, you wonder if there should have been more weak side help coming and dropping in there.
The Riders lead by 8. Under 4 minutes to go in this quarter. Robb fakes the shot, she drives in, she's up against the taller Tweedy. Late in the clock, ball needs to go up. Doesn't go, but who gets the rebound? It's a battle. It's Harrison with it. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 fakes the shot, drives in, out, extra pass. Big step back 3. And doesn't touch the net at all. And that was probably one pass too many.
You do, and I think if that had gone in, that could have been like a hammer blow there for the Gladiators. If they managed to move the ball around, get that 3 in, you know, you're into double-digit lead there, which psychologically climbing back from that and also to build upon for the Riders.
Yeah, I thought 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 did a brilliant job getting past her defender and actually had an open goal to the basket.
Sometimes you can be too team orientated.
Yeah. Considering what kind of quarter she's had scoring wise, I just expected her to go for that layup. It's 51-43. Again, late in the shot clock. Byrne with a little bit of space. Doesn't go, and it's a rebound by Bigot. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆, she's on 12 points so far. Into Tweedy under the basket. Doesn't go. Great find there by 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆.
That's that same hard edge, and if that's going to leave Tweedy open every time, they're going to have to think about that Gladiators, how they rotate on that defence.
Riders looking really organised to start this second half. Tia Adams drives in, and she gets it to drop. That's vintage Tia Adams there.
I don't even know where she finds the space from sometimes, but she does.
Cut into the basket, pass into the corner. Backs down Hannah Robb, and she checks back out to Harrison, who's got Byrne on her back, all the way to the basket. Foul called, and she'll shoot too.
And nice work on the defensive closeout there by Robb, staying on her feet, because you could see 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 went to, you know, fake the ball, and that would have been so easy to jump, and had left her with a wide open right hand layup. But who else but Harrison finding a way to get the hoop, drawing the call, and first time at the line this quarter.
The tambourine's making a noise to try and put her off, but she just slots that whip down so easily.
And it's kind of what I mentioned sort of in that first half. Harrison, if she's doing the scoring, great. You look at how you close her down, but then you've got to stop the others. Whereas they've now allowed 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 to, you know, get some really nice looks. You saw 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆, who she missed the last, get a nice pick and roll there. So it's got to be 1 through 5.
Doesn't get the second one. The lead 7, 2 minutes and 10 on the clock.
And I think that's something that they've been looking at on the inside Gladiators, knowing that 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆's on the third. And you know, you've got the experience there of Burns just working there on 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆, making her cause that fourth foul.
Chandler checks back in.
But that's not exactly a bad substitution, you know, for the Riders, having 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 sit down, but then you're bringing in Chandler, who herself, you know, has been having herself some games, averaging 12 and 6.
Gladiators get it inbounds. 2 minutes on the clock to get it into Tia Adams. Spreading the ball. They're looking to set up here inside, but there's not a lot of movements from the bigs. Robin Lewis dribbles into a bit of trouble. McCarrigan has to go on her own. She loses the ball around her hips, and it's a travel called. Just dragged that back pivot foot.
And you can hear Ben Sally, I think he's actually doing his own commentary down there. You can hear him calling it, getting players to move, steps. Love when a coach has got that passion on the sidelines.
Yeah, big game for Leicester. If Coach Stanley and his team can get this, they'll go to 5 and 3 for the season. A defeat for the Gladiators. Point pushes them below the 500 mark again. Harrison to Chandler. Drives in against Byrne. And the foul call. Just that slight, just when Chandler went to release the shot. She leans her arms forward. And the coach technical as well.
And Riders, you know, continuing with this ascendancy, continuing on this really great run that they've got. You know, now they're going to find themselves at the line. They're going to get uncontested shots. They're going to get the ball.
Chandler misses the first one. Referees kindly waiting there for the Gladiators.
I thought they were going to give it.
And that was the coach technical. She's now going to be shooting her two. In hope of pushing the lead out. Sorry, only our one extra shot.
No, there's still another to come because she missed
That's
the.
right. She missed the shot.
Yeah, so they didn't need to
We
wait
were
on
right.
first.
Basically, we were right.
I'm always right apart from when I'm wrong.
That's a life lesson. She converts the second, pushes the lead to 9. 90 seconds of this third quarter remaining. The Riders have done a brilliant job this quarter, and they're back into this zone defense. That's worked really well for them. Hard screen again sets. Tia Adams tries to get to the basket. Rebound by Delaney Byrne. She steps through, overcooks it, as Janicka gathers the rebound, and that's one of these shots that Delaney Byrne needs to convert.
It is, and like you say, has overcooked it, maybe expecting more.
A bid for
contact.
3, and it goes! Big shot for the Leicester Riders, and they push their lead into double figures, 12 points into this final minute of this third quarter. A big score there for the Riders, and they have looked superb this third quarter. Quick pass into the corner. McCarrigan turns it over to the free throw line. He's for Yates off and driving, but just called for a foul.
You just think with the flow of the game and how it's been going, that seems like a very tight call there. I don't think, you know, Coach Ben Stanley would be fussed if there wasn't a call there. I thought almost it's going to be a travel with
Yeah,
that
I
dragging
assumed when
through.
the ref blew the whistle, it was going to be for the back foot drag, just slowing down there. So from a Gladiators point of view, the Riders get away with one. Eastworth Yates from way downtown, jumps around, someone needs to rebound it, it's Chandler underneath, and she gets her own rebound. Foul called. And Coach Chantel Handy's shown her frustration towards the officials at her own team's almost incompetence not getting that rebound.
Yeah, and if you get a call in there, and not in respect to what the conversation will be over there because we don't know, but I think, like you say, Gladiators need to take care of the ball, and Riders are out there and they're doing what they need to do, and you've always got to play with the referees as well and however that goes, but get the rebound. first and foremost. If you get the ball, you ain't going to have any problems with getting fouls called against you.
Chandler misses the first one. Gets the second. Potentially the last play of the quarter is the Riders riding off of this one in this quarter so far. They've scored 19-9 in this third quarter. Late in the clock now, Gladiators need something to go. They get into the corner for Kat Tudor's three, and it drops. Big three-pointer heading into the final 10 minutes. A messy possession tidied up by Kat Tudor, who knocks down the three, and that could be a big score for this game.
I think the Gladiators needed that, and at the moment you just feel like nobody's willing to take responsibility of the ball, and you've got to do the little things, you've got to do the hard work, it's got to be the cuts, it's got to be the slashes. You know, it's all good going out there and putting up the points, but you've also got to do whatever's causing the space to be made from that. Riders at the moment with Harrison, she's able to create her space, but we're not seeing that from the Gladiators then because of that zone and how it's able to shut them down out there. But equally, they've got to just be moving that ball. You're seeing it at times, like I say, it's so static from the Gladiators. But Riders are out there, they're feeling it, they're in their groove. That's for Gladiators to go out there and have to disrupt, because they're, you know, if 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 is happy to put it up from that deep, coach is looking happy with that, you know, that's what you've got to be out there doing. Chandler ripping down boards when she has no authority doing that, when you've got 2 or 3 other players in there, similar size, similar stature. So great work by the Riders. They're sticking to their game plan and they're making Gladiators now. They're going to have to play catch up.
Yeah, the Riders leading by 10. Harrison still leading all scoring 21. Top score for the Gladiators, Kat Tudor only on 10 points, and that's something the Gladiators may need, is someone just to take the whole load of scoring.
You saw, you know, Hannah Robb strung together 2 scores. You thought maybe that's where it was going to go. Again, rotations from the Gladiators then, just trying to get a 5 that's working together, that's gelling, that's playing with that same intensity. But you're sort of getting a bit of intensity from 1-5, but then from another 5 you're getting a bit more scoring, but then you don't get the scoring. So I guess it's just finding that blend, isn't it?
The Riders have scored 47% from 3. They're 8 from 17. They're 66% from the free throw line. And they've been able to get the business done at both ends of the floor, really stopping the Gladiators at the basket.
And I think they have done such a good job. You know, Gladiators have only shot 5 free throws. We've seen them at the start of the game, they were doing well getting the ball inside, driving to the hoop, but they've gone away from that, and I think that's shown insofar as they've had 5 free throws so far. They need to be looking to do that more. You've got 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 sitting on 4, you've got Chandler sitting on 3, and then you've just got 2 other players sitting on 2 fouls and 1 foul. So, you know, you're not making them have to make those decisions. You're not making the referees have to make a decision on the call.
Teams out on the floor. Well, we see the Riders back into this zone defence. It's been a really big job for them so far. And it looks like a man-to-man to start the final quarter. Hard screen again by McCarrigan. Harris underneath the basket, gathers it in, goes to her right, and a good start to the quarter for the Gladiators.
Yeah, Biggett came across there maybe just a little bit too late to have an impact there on Harris.
Gladiators now into a zone defence to cut down, but Januszewska for 3. Battle inside, and Chandler gets it. She should be converting that, and it's Harris there carrying the loose ball. McCarrigan cutting across, but it's the 3 out to Kat Tudor. And the corner doesn't go. And McCarrigan trying to go around the other side to gather rebound.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. If she'd stayed where she was, she would have got it. But I get why you're wanting to get closer to the hoop, but just the ball's always going to bounce.
Ball somehow ends up in the hands of Rhea Harris. The Gladiators off and running. Hannah Robb cutting to the basket. And it drops. Gladiators off to a hot start this quarter.
You can see, you know, Ben over there, Coach Ben, just been like, okay, hold it up, give yourself a breathing second. Nice finding to Aboud.
Aboud dribbles round, nice kind of 6 to 10 foot jump shot there. Just calms down the scoring from the Gladiators. Tudor, I thought was just going to land and shoot it. Takes a second. Hannah Robb with the mid-range jumper, and she gets it to drop. Good start to the final quarter for Hannah Robb.
And that's what's going to happen. You need to get stops, you need to get scores, and that's for both teams. But you know, Riders, they don't need to play with as much urgency. But equally,
Aboud back underneath the zone defence, easy as you can. She gets the 2, and that's just poor communication out the zone.
it is. She was forgotten about back there.
Harris unable to gather the ball, but it's Bigot off and running for the Riders. Takes her time, slows down, spins to her left. Extra pass, 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 in the corner for Marie. And it drops! She is having a game tonight again. She's up to 10 points.
And that's what the Riders team are so good at doing. Every time the Gladiators cut off one part of the team, they cut off one scoring threat, somebody else steps up.
12 points is for 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 there, apologies, but she's having a great scoring effort here. And Riders just slowing down the scoring of the Gladiators. The lead's back to 11. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 late in the clock, touches the rim, McCarrican gathers it, and it drops. Important score there, just over 7 on the clock. A thrilling start to this final quarter. Gladiators again back into the zone. 𝗀𝗃𝗃 for 3. And it goes! The Gladiators zone getting ripped apart by the corner scores of the Riders.
And that's what you want to do if you're Riders. That's where the gaps are. They're in at the back, they're in those corner spaces. And they're making it look easy out there, whereas the Gladiators have struggled at times against the Rider zone.
Tudor tries to reply with a Hail Mary type 3 there. And if you're Riders, you can begin to think about the clock. The lead's 12, just over 6 minutes to go. They've been scoring with ease as 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆 goes to the basket. It's fouled and she'll shoot for 2.
And you can see she's now feeling it. It's as if they're taking a turn, isn't it? Harrison took the first half, 𝗿𝗔𝗍𝗍𝗍 in the third. And then you're looking at 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆 in the fourth as Harrison checks back in, and we know what a problem she's been out there.
Yeah, so Harrison's not played to start this fourth quarter as the Riders lead this quarter 10 points to 8 before these free throw. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝗆 shoots about 80% 83% from the free throw line. Gets the first to drop. Frantic couple of minutes here to start the game, but the Riders matching and more whatever the Gladiators are throwing at them. And there's their zone defense that blocks it down. Kirsty Brown unable to gather the ball in. Quick passing across court from Bigot to 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗆, and she goes dancing with 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗆, feeling it. Chandler for 3, and it goes! The Leicester Riders look to be closing this one out early with a huge 3-point shot made there, pushing the lead out. Hannah Robb trying to cut to the basket, and it belongs with the Gladiators still.
And Riders, you know, you quoted it earlier, Julia Chandler, not necessarily a 3-point shooter, but has knocked down 3 today. And that's when you know a team are feeling good, and that's when you know they're in their rhythm. And Riders, they're in danger of running away from this now.
17-point lead now for the Riders as Gladiators struggle to get the ball in. They do just in time. Kirsty Brown backing down 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 as Kerry McGee's the one driving to the basket, and that's probably not the offense we expect to see from the Gladiators.
No, I get that slash to the hoop, but that should be more to create the space because it's so tight in there. The angle, you've got the other help defender there. And Kerry McGee a little bit more undersized for putting that ball up. 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗆𝗆 trying to get something going out the defense there with her defense. We've seen her turn the ball over, get the steals, but called for the blocking foul on that occasion.
And if you're just checking in for the end of this game, the Riders currently lead 73-56. Been a close battle throughout, but to start this fourth quarter, the Riders are clearly on top after a first 2-minute onslaught by the Gladiators. Kirsty Brown gets her hands in the passing lane. And it's Harrison not long back on the floor, who's been instrumental in tonight's game as 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗆𝗆's called for the foul.
And you can see Gladiators are just trying to do what they can to try and disrupt things, but fouling's not always going to be, you know, the answer in that situation. It just eats away at the clock. It allows Riders an out of bounds.
Harrison dancing baseline against Robb, doesn't get it to go, and it's Kerry McGee off and running the tempo the Gladiators trying to play at. Trailing by 17, they need to start working now and getting this score down. Rob with a mid-range jump shot, doesn't go. 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 won't reach it, it's Bigot's ball. As she steps out of bounds as she gathers it. And it'll be 14 seconds on the shot clock for the Gladiators.
And you'll be thinking they want to get a score out of this. They need to get a score out of this.
But you've just seen some tremendous defence in this final quarter by the Leicester Riders as the Gladiators unable to convert, as 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 tries to gather the ball. She takes out Hannah Robb.
And I think that's, you know, how it's been going for Gladiators, isn't it? That sometimes it's a bit like there's cling film, or it's that millimetres tighter there basket.
The Riders come in and really done a big job on the Gladiators this afternoon as they now slow it down using some clock. Harrison against Hannah Robb. Drives in Kirsty Brown there on the help, but she just finds a way of putting the ball in the basket. That's 23 points for the game for Harrison, and the Riders stretch their lead once again to 19 points. And Rona, if you're Coach Stanley there, you're absolutely delighted with what your team's giving you now.
You are, and because they're confident, and I always talk about it, if you're confident, the ball just drops for you. And I think on that one, you saw that she's off balance, she's taking on a few players, she's shooting over players, and she gets the lucky roll, and it's going around the iron each time. You know, it's bouncing off various parts. When they're nailing their threes, it's not like, you know, it's getting in there and just, it's like they're straight through like daggers. It's all going Riders' way at the moment. They have come with a game plan, and they have stuck to that game plan, and it's working well for them. That shorter, tighter rotation, they're using it to their advantage. You know, Gladiators, bigger rotation, more players in. It's potentially not working to their advantage this afternoon. You know, they are being outscored, and they're just being disrupted in what they want to do and what their style of basketball is. We saw it at the start, but they've gone away from that.
And it's just the energy for the full 40 or the 35 plus minutes we've had so far from the Riders. They're just outdoing the Gladiators so far. Like 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 is the energy bunny almost every time. Harrison as well. And it's a big reason why the lead is where it is. It's a Gladiators ball along their baseline.
And you can see when the ball's in Harrison's hand, you know she's going to do something as a defender. You're just trying to second guess that at all times.
Referee's quick to get this game up and going again. Robin Lewis, driving into the basket, doesn't get anything to go. Cross-court pass, skipped out. Kirsty Brown driving baseline now. Looking for an extra helper late in the clock. Shot needs to go up. And it's a Riders ball as Burns unable to gather it in. 4 minutes on the clock. Harrison getting there with ease. Janiszewska, extra pass to Bigot, who drives to the basket. Goes up for the layup, doesn't get it to go. Rob putting her head down, dribbling it out. Cross-court pass, Kerry McGee, catch and shoot. Doesn't go, she fights for her own rebound and doesn't get it. The frustration beginning to show on the Gladiators' faces, Rona.
You can see that it's been a tough day at the office for them. Shots that usually would drop aren't dropping, they're not finding their looks, but credit goes to Riders. You know, they've done their scout, they've done their homework, and they've managed to apply it.
And they're bringing that confidence in from the previous game against Manchester. They were riding a tight highway like Manchester. We see how good they've been to start the season. And they're looking to get this run going over this festive period. Turnover there, and it's a Gladiators ball as Abud and 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 checks back in. Just over 3.5 minutes to go in the game. There's the Riders, a commanding 19-point lead. Byrne with the quick three. And that shot early in the shot clock kind of sums up where the Gladiators are at for this game. Extra pass, 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 to Chandler. It just keeps the scoreboard ticking over. It's a 21-point margin now. 19-8 this quarter, the Riders have led by.
You can see Gladiators are potentially just trying to chip away at that score. They're getting the open look, but again, not dropping, not getting the rebounds.
Harrison getting to the basket, extra pass one more time, and 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝘆 lived off that battle inside. 𝘁𝗏𝗍 doesn't get the ball to go, deflected out. Third opportunity to get the score now for the Riders. Chandler, the dagger three, and it's still being battled inside, and it's a Riders ball once again, and it's the energy, it's the competitiveness of the game that's just going in Riders win.
It is, and yeah, they're moving the ball well, they're crashing the boards hard, they're doing absolutely everything they need to. And interestingly, the referee came to tell somebody else about the technical, but that will see.
And that'll be 𝗀𝗲𝗃𝗃 ejected from the game. Referees had enough of her talking back to them, and it looks like a Gladiators timeout. And you see the frustration on coach's face as she's walking off the court. I think she's just taking that technical to get some last minute frustration out.
I think so indeed. I mean, it'll be assistant coach Donnie McDonald, you know, who now steps in to the reins for the last 2 minutes 40, but at the same time, as players, the players have got to go out there, they've got to make sure they do things like take care of the boards, and sometimes coaches' frustrations at referees and various things comes from the team not doing what is expected of them.
Accepting that responsibility, yes. Almost, yeah.
And I do think the best players are the ones who can take responsibility. That's what you see. You see it, you know, when you talk about key players, it's they've come out and they've done their job. It was Harrison. Harrison decided that first half was hers. Yes, has been quieter in the second, you know, 6 points in the second half, but did her work, did it early, and has now made the Gladiators have to defend and work so hard on her. She's freed up space in other people. So I think if you're a Gladiator at the moment, you're going out there to do that. You're going out there to prove that you can do these simple things and you can do them well. Riders, you're just going out there to enjoy this. This is going to be 2 minutes and 40 of you're able to play your free-flowing basketball and do exactly what you have been doing. You've got the Gladiators rattled, you want to keep it there.
The Riders are on their biggest lead of the game at 21. They'll look to extend that, and they get it to drop. And it'll be a baseline ball for the Leicester Riders. 2 minutes 40 on the clock. Harrison looking for space for Yates. She's had a tremendous second half. The energy she's produced in this game has been incredible. Good defense from Byrne. She forces Chandler out of bounds. And it's 𝗿𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 on the floor as the Gladiators look to just get some clarity that could help them in this second part of the season. Robin Lewis steps on the line for two, doesn't go. Delaney Byrne eventually gathers the rebound, and she gets a 2-ball to drop.
Chandler doing well as well, staying in the defensive, keeping her arms up and not causing that and one that she saw so many of, didn't we, in that opening set.
Chandler gets the space on Delaney Byrne, tries to go to the basket, but she gathers her first rebound, her second rebound. Ball's held up, travel called.
And again, they're just not secure in that defensive board there from the Gladiators. We know how good and prolific that the Leicester Riders are on the boards. We talked about it at the start, you know. Sitting second overall in the league, we know that's what they're going to come out and do. And Gladiators needed to do better work with that. Yeah,
Gladiators been out rebounded by about 8 rebounds as that's a long arcing three from 𝗿𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃. 43-37 on the rebounds as Harrison will go to the line for two. Just under 100 seconds of this game to go. And if we're talking MVPs, Rona, you've got to say for the game, Harrison has been immense.
Yeah, you don't even need to think about it, do you? You know, she's at the line, she's looking to shoot again. But index of 24, sitting on 24 points. That was a dramatic pause. 6 rebounds, 3 assists. She has come out and she has balled out today, and they've had no answers for her.
But if you then look behind that, the team effort from the Riders, again, big contributions from Eidsworth Yates. 𝗁𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 getting 8 rebounds. 𝗿𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃's 15 points. Chandler 16 and 7. It's not just that individual Harrison. They've been tremendous as a team to watch.
They have, and they have just had answers for absolutely everything.
Byrne releases the quick 3, and it's 𝗀𝗏 gathering the rebound. She's up to 9 rebounds for the game. As the clock ticks down, firmly in the favour of the Leicester Riders. He's for 𝗿𝗏, drives round, floats it from the baseline. It's a battle inside for the rebound, and the Gladiators gather it. They're off and running. Robin Lewis checking back, waiting for the cavalry to catch up. Quick pass back from 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆. 3-ball up, and that doesn't go. And 𝗀𝗏 gathers her 10th rebound of the game as we enter the final minute. And the Riders look to finish the year 5-3, and that could do them some good heading into the next part of the season.
It will. And you know they're going to go and they're going to have Durham at home when they reopen after the Christmas break. Gladiators will be back here in action on the 5th of the 1st, and they'll have Essex, who are going to be another tough team to come up against. Extra pass from Harrison. Doesn't go. It's in Hannah Robb's hand, and she just looks to push the tempo. Goes away. Probably gets a wee hand in the cookie jar there. Gathers, puts off Robb from getting to the basket. 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 catches it out wide into Delaney Byrne. She's misses the easy kind of layup, and those are the ones that the Gladiators really need their kind of 4-player to kind of convert on, as the rest of the Riders dribble it out, and they have been tremendous to watch as they round out tonight's game. 80 points to 58, a 22-point winning margin. The Leicester Riders progress on to 5-3 for the season. The Gladiators go to 3-4. And Coach Handy, assisted by Donnie McDonald, will head into this kind of festive break with lots to work on. The in-house announcer just announcing Hannah Robb as the Gladiators MVP, but it's Harrison from the Leicester Riders who leads all scoring, 25 points. Chandler 16, 𝗿𝗏𝗱𝘆 15, 𝗀𝗏 with 10 rebounds, Chandler and 7, Biggett with 7. She had a tremendous contribution without scoring. And it's Eastworth Yates, 5 assists. When we look at the team stats point of view, the Riders shooting 50% from 3, making 11 from 22. Makes the big difference in this game, and really some of those threes against the Gladiator zone in that 4th quarter were the big difference. At the free throw line as well, the Riders making 20 trips to the free throw line. That makes the big difference. 15-20 from their 75%. The Gladiators only getting to the line for 5 attempts. You saw that early push to get the ball inside. Didn't really convert for the full game. And we're just waiting. It looks like Rona's going to have the Gladiators MVP for the night, Hannah Robb, courtside. But what a game this was. The Riders win 80 points to 58. And we'll join Rona courtside. Tough loss today out there against the Riders. How does it feel?
Yeah, that's a tough one to take. I mean, they came out with a lot of energy. They're a good team, and we matched it for spells, but not consistently over 40 minutes. So, yeah, it's a tough one to take considering we've been building and playing really well the last couple of weeks. So, we know we got to go, we got to work, and we got to come back better.
Indeed, and you looked at times you were trying to take that on board yourself. 11-6-5. Were you just trying to get going out there?
Yeah, I just try. It's part of my game. I try and lead by example. Try hustle plays, do the little things to get us back into the game. But it's also Leicester did a good job of shutting us down, so we need to go away and make the adjustments and come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that wraps us up here for today. Riders are going back down the road with the win, and as they head into the winter break. Thank you so much for joining us all here at the amphitheatre. From me and Grant, good evening.